Cool, right? Want to know where I got it? Well, look, go to cs.money. It's a trade platform and a marketplace at the same time. Just choose, click, and get. Good luck, bro.
Players. I need to hire someone who can narrate some video in normal English. Hey man, can you voice my video?
Yes, of course.
Great, let's go.
In short, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. PUBG, or the all-well-known simulator where you're running around the area, searching for normal loot, and... it happens. So, this game is from the developers of Terra. Alright, now to wait a bit, and... okay... So, PUBG, the multiplayer battle royale game created by Brendan Green and developed by Bluehole. Well, not quite Bluehole, more like a very small team from Bluehole.
Are there any people who can work in Unreal Engine 4? Who wants to make a game which will bring millions of dollars? Great, tomorrow we'll release it in early access.
But seriously, why is the game so poorly optimized? It has a huge number of bugs, lags, and other crap that completely discourage the desire to play it. I warn you, this is only my opinion based on reading and viewing information about the game. To begin with, initially, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was very difficult to create, and the ambitious mod writer for Arma, Brandon Green, had no idea what to face when developing. There are very few people who know how to code for Unreal Engine 4, and not just code for UE4, but to program for a network shooter with a huge map and an online player base for 100 people in one lobby. And the experience of what the guys have only working on the multiplayer role-playing game Terra, made on Unreal Engine 3. The fact is amusing, and that game abounds with a huge number of bugs. Due to the bewilderment of the work ahead, a small indie teen is begging for help from one smartass company called Epic Games. You all know her well by the competitor Pubg, Fortnite. And the fact that these part-time guys are the developer of the engine on which Pubg was developed in. At some point, they realized that the Battlegrounds genre is a goldmine, and how successfully it turned out that Fortnite's 6-year-old development is underway at that moment, which the dick knows if it will go in or not with the main mode. Well, in the end, the guys decided not to risk long-term work, abandoning the developers of PUBG to leave and make the same mode in Fortnite. Meanwhile, the guys from Bluehole fall into despair because they don't know shit. And from the finished material, there are only peep models from Stalker, which will continue to be shoved in all locations, and judging by the number of Zaporizets on all of the maps, this is the fucking most serial and popular car in the world. So what remains for Brendan Green and his desperate guys? That's right, write the code for the game as it will, and then we will look. And here is a small group of hard workers. After a small amount of time, a piece of raw PUBG is dragged into the light. And here the developers are cheering for joy and grief at the same time. Because with great online games comes great responsibility. A huge tsunami from all the players clogs the server of the game, dropping them in passing, and everything would be fine. The money flows like a river, but then it starts, which in consequence, I think the game will sink into nothingness. The curved architecture of the game, the crappy code written in a hurry due to the allegedly possible release of the near future Fortnite, makes PUBG unmanageable and sets fire to the asses of developers. Even millions of dollars in hiring new employees is unable to change anything in this game, and many people understand that if you start changing something in a complex, non-optimized shit code, it's going to create a huge number of new bugs, and people are more and more and they require corrections.
Colleagues, we have a serious problem. Online falls and you need something to keep the audience in the game. Your suggestions? Add new maps!
Add a bunch of new loot boxes and skins!
Or maybe we wait a bit with the addition of loot boxes, new maps, and tidy out what we have.
You will start to position the game as a cybersports discipline!
Do you feel it? Tournaments in the game in which lying in the grass can be seen at some distance while he doesn't see anything around. A tournament in a game where you may die due to invisible obstacles. A tournament in the game where there is him.
Pueblo, go to him slowly and carefully. First, try to go slow. Oh no, Pueblo, run away! Cybersport.
Also, guys, what kind of esports are we talking about if a random zone affects the probability of your victory? Because of the diverse landscape, someone may take a very comfortable position at the very beginning of the game. No matter how cool you shoot, the chance in this game takes a lot more skill. But move away from the topic of tournaments and back to the bugs. In the summer of developers, they let go of all the feelings of the immensity of the game, and they rolled out the Fix Pubg project, vowing to fix all the bugs in 3 months. Genius move! Not. So, it's a show to give the players what they had to do even after a long time. But no, it was at the very peak when they released new maps, new loot boxes, even made a mobile version of PUBG and held tournaments. What's the result of 3 months after working on all the bugs? Well, they developed to fix a lot of things, naturally breaking something in return. Yes, and all without a difference already because they were too late. The gamers had a good impression of the game at the very beginning and correcting even the oldest important bugs that were present from early access. They chose to take the money while PUBG is popular. And as everyone knows, the first impression is the most important. In general, every aspect of the game there are problems, and I can continue indefinitely clinging to bad graphics and pseudo-physics because the game is positioning itself as realism, adding any delays in interaction with objects, especially like the process of planting in cars. Summing up, in my opinion, the game is already 1 foot in the grave. No, sorry for that time I made this video with 2 legs. The creators themselves stated that they did not count on such a huge renaissance and apparently wanted to calmly develop the game. But because of the strong popularity, the team fell on a huge burden of responsibility, which they were unlikely to cope with. The problems are leaving and no one wants to let go. Therefore, there are new ways to monetize, and the old problems remain. In conjunction with these problems, new ones are added. For example, the extinct interest of player in a simple battle royale. No, I'm not saying that the genre has outlived itself, rather it should be reborn in a completely new, high-quality game in the battle royale genre. Because of what we now have, in my opinion, is more like very limited mods. The battle royale genre is shoved into absolutely everything in new games, in which the basis a completely different gameplay. Many will think, but what about Fortnite? Yes, this is a great example of how optimization, flexibility of the code can make a ton of content that allows you to keep the audience and make players forget that the game was done with completely different gameplay. But it seems to me that the brainchild of Epic Games can be surpassed by firing something in between Fortnite and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds, taking all the best from them and right up to the point. PUBG will still fight in agony, delight, and disappointing the remaining players. Good luck to the developers. After all, as if the players did not hate the game, it contributed to the spread of the genre of Battle Royale, the emergence of a huge amount of entertainment content, and emotions among people. This is my end. Subscribe to the channel, don't forget about that bell, like the video, and write comments. Goodbye!
Oops.